Ever thought about how terrifying it would be to live under the rule of one of history's most infamous rulers? Well, let's journey back to the mid-15th century, to the land of Wallachia, now part of present-day Romania. Here, in the year of 1431, a child was born into a world of conflict and power struggles. This child was Vlad III, who would later be known by a more chilling moniker, Vlad the Impaler, or Vlad Tepes. The early life of Vlad wasn't exactly a bed of roses. Born into the noble family of the House of Draculesti, his upbringing was steeped in the harsh realities of medieval politics. His father, Vlad II Dracul, was a member of the Order of the Dragon, a group committed to defending Christianity in Eastern Europe. This is where Vlad's infamous nickname, Dracula, meaning son of Dracul, originates. Vlad's childhood was marred by upheaval and strife. His father was dethroned, his older brother murdered, and he himself was held hostage by the Ottoman Empire. These experiences, many believe, shaped the man Vlad would become. At the tender age of 17, Vlad ascended to the throne as the voivode of Wallachia. His rule was anything but ordinary. Vlad was a ruler of extremes, exacting harsh punishments on those who crossed him and enforcing strict laws to maintain order and stability in his realm. He was known for his ruthless and, some might say, sadistic methods of dealing with his enemies. But perhaps the most chilling aspect of Vlad's rule was his signature method of execution, impalement. This gruesome practice earned him his nickname, Vlad the Impaler. His reign was marked by the shadows of tall stakes, each bearing the lifeless body of an enemy, a traitor, or a lawbreaker. So began the reign of Vlad the Impaler, a ruler who would be remembered for his unique brand of cruelty. Let's delve deeper into the reign of terror that has etched this ruler's name into the annals of history. What makes a ruler infamous, you wonder? Indeed, it's not just about the crown, the throne, or the wealth, but the deeds that echo through time. And Vlad III, or as he's more notoriously known, Vlad the Impaler, was a ruler whose deeds still send shivers down our spines. Vlad's reign was steeped in brutality, and he held a peculiar penchant for impalement, a method of execution as horrifying as it sounds, where victims were skewered on long stakes, their agonizing demise often lasting for days. This was not just a tool of execution, but a psychological weapon of war, designed to instill fear in the hearts of his enemies. The sight of forests of the impaled, their screams echoing in the wind, was a testament to Vlad's ruthlessness. It's said that thousands met their end this way. Soldiers who dared to cross him, political rivals who thought they could outmaneuver him, or commoners who dared to defy his laws. None were spared from Vlad's cruel form of justice. Such was the terror he spread that often the mere threat of impalement was enough to quell any rebellion or dissent. But Vlad's cruelty wasn't limited to impalement. Oh no. His repertoire of horror extended to other forms of torture and execution, from beheading and dismemberment to burning and boiling, even feeding victims to wild beasts. He was a master of terror. Yet amid this reign of terror, there was an odd sense of order and stability. Vlad was not just a ruler who reveled in violence, but one who enforced strict laws and maintained order with an iron fist. He ruled with a sense of purpose, a relentless pursuit of control and stability that underpinned his reign. His reign was a reign of terror, marked by violence, strict law enforcement, and a relentless pursuit of order and stability. Vlad the Impaler, a name that still evokes fear, a ruler whose reign remains a chilling chapter in the annals of history. But was there more to Vlad than just a ruthless ruler? Indeed there was. His reign was not just marked by his brutal methods of governance, but also by his unyielding defiance against the Ottoman Empire's expansion into Wallachia. This was a time when the Ottoman Empire was at the height of its power, and its thirst for conquest seemed insatiable. Yet Vlad stood firm, refusing to bow down or surrender. Faced with the formidable Ottoman forces, Vlad, rather than capitulating, chose to fight fire with fire. He employed guerrilla tactics that harrowed and weakened the Ottomans. His strategies involved ambushing Ottoman troops, using the dense forests and difficult terrain of Wallachia to his advantage. He also conducted night raids, sabotaging the enemy's supplies and disrupting their communication lines. His actions were not just about military strategy, but also about psychological warfare. He sought to instill fear in his enemies, to make them think twice before setting foot in his territory. His defiance was not without cost. Many battles were fought, many lives were lost, and Vlad himself was captured and imprisoned for a time, but he never ceased to resist. His relentless defiance against the Ottomans was a testament to his determination to safeguard the autonomy of his principality. His fierce resistance and brutal reputation left an indelible mark in history and popular culture. Vlad the Impaler, with his blood-soaked reign and his unyielding defiance, became a symbol of fear and fascination. This combination of ruthlessness and resistance was a potent mix, one that caught the imagination of many. His tale was so compelling that it inspired the creation of one of literature's most iconic characters. Bram Stoker, in his famous novel, gave life to a legendary figure that continues to captivate audiences today, Count Dracula. The character of Dracula, with his eerie castle, his thirst for blood, and his immortal existence, is a reflection of the fear and fascination that Vlad the Impaler continues to inspire. His fierce resistance and brutal reputation went on to inspire the legendary figure of Count Dracula in Bram Stoker's famous novel. His story, like that of Dracula, remains immortal, forever etched in the annals of history and the pages of popular culture. But how much of what we know about Vlad the Impaler is true? As with any historical figure shrouded in infamy, the truth about Vlad the Impaler is challenging to discern. The chronicles of his time, often written by his enemies, are filled with accounts of his extraordinary cruelty. Yet these same accounts may be tinged with exaggeration and bias, painting a picture of Vlad as a monster rather than a man. Historians have spent centuries parsing through these narratives, attempting to separate fact from fiction. Some argue that Vlad's brutal methods were nothing more than the norm for 15th century European rulers, who often employed extreme violence as a means of maintaining order and control. Others contend that Vlad's cruelty was exceptional even for his time, pointing to his fondness for impalement as evidence of his sadistic tendencies. The motivations behind Vlad's actions are also a subject of ongoing debate. Some see him as a ruthless tyrant, driven by a lust for power and vengeance. Others view him as a pragmatic leader, who used fear as a tool to protect his kingdom from external threats. And then there are those who believe Vlad was a victim of his circumstances, molded by a childhood marked by trauma and political upheaval. The extent of Vlad's cruelty is another contentious issue. Estimates of the number of people he killed during his reign vary greatly, ranging from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. While it's clear that Vlad was responsible for a significant amount of bloodshed, the exact figure remains a mystery, lost to the mists of time. Despite these controversies, one thing is certain. Vlad the Impaler was a man of his time, a product of a violent and unstable era. His reign, marked by brutality and defiance, has left an indelible mark on history. His story, with all its complexities and contradictions, continues to captivate us, sparking debates and inspiring stories. Whether vilified or valorized, Vlad the Impaler remains a fascinating figure in history. So, what can we glean from the life and reign of Vlad the Impaler? Let's take a moment to reflect on the key milestones of this notorious figure's life. Born in the early 15th century, Vlad III ascended to the princely throne of Wallachia, a region now part of modern-day Romania. His reign was marked by a signature brand of brutality, earning him the chilling moniker, Vlad the Impaler. His preferred method of execution was not for the faint of heart. Impalement, in its sheer cruelty, served not just as a means of punishment, but as a tool of psychological warfare. It was a gruesome spectacle designed to instill fear in his enemies and maintain order within his realm. Military foes, political rivals, thousands are said to have met their end on Vlad's stakes. But the terror of Vlad's reign did not stop at impalement. His repertoire of torture extended to beheading, dismemberment, burning, boiling, and even surrendering victims to the mercy of wild animals. His rule, while marked by violence, was also characterized by strict law enforcement and a dogged pursuit of stability. Vlad's defiance against the expanding Ottoman Empire is a notable chapter in his story. His guerrilla tactics and bold resistance have been etched into popular culture, his brutal reputation inspiring the creation of the legendary character, Count Dracula. Yet, as we delve deeper into the narrative of Vlad the Impaler, it's crucial to tread carefully. Historical accounts from his era may be riddled with bias or exaggeration. The motivations behind his actions and the true extent of his cruelty remain topics of fervent debate among historians. Vlad III, a ruler remembered for his ruthlessness, continues to cast a long shadow over history. His life, his reign, and his legacy stir both fascination and controversy. In the end, perhaps the true horror lies not in the gruesome tales, but in the enduring fascination and controversy surrounding Vlad the Impaler.